Episode for GC News, Mema Obibia Akwawa, Ahadia latest and hot news, and Kwa Aramede Bremo. Erunti so when subscribe to channel dia bomodia say over subscribe. The way I say over click the subscribe button, you know. Now wa barely notification, you know. Where is video for be upload, you know. When the first person once ebeka sa video. Afi we are na like video. Give us a thumbs up na afi share ma wo foforo so na we je bi hwe na wo hu esemo a ekoso garama mo ha no. Afi yembura ye esemo abeto yepno so yiti aye sa report ya ababa tudwa sansem yiti esemo ekoso yiti.
It's obvious, yes, that's what Domlevo popularly says, when you fight corruption will, yes, and we will see from our history how cases go to court and they take so long, right? Because people are very powerful, they can fight and all that. So it's true that a lot of these guys are not going to just lie down and be defeated easily, right? But it's also true that, especially for those properties that they've not succeeded in totally, so let's say the capture, those that they've not succeeded in taking away, they will also not get them. So let's say, for instance, the agric mechanization land, what we've shown. Okay, where are they going to pass to come and build? No, if they are challenging it, so they won't get access to it. They are not going to build.
But what about those that have been taken away already?
So those that have been taken away, a different kettle of fish. So when ORA gets to the implementation stage, we'll see how we collaborate with OSP, IOCO, etc. Then we would, be able to get into retrieving the assets, because I mean, some of them they finish kind of dissipating, so you need a court of law to convict those persons, and then in the process, some of them can return. Okay, some of them can return them. So take an example. You see how? Okay, I'll just leave it because it's a pending matter. So let's give a hypothetical example. If let's say Minister X took our money, and then Minister X gave the money to his family members to attend school, and some family members also mismanaged some. So you see that the money is gone far. But if we put Minister X before the law court and we're able to prove that this money you gave to your family and those that your family members have mismanaged are government funds, then Minister X will be facing jail, a jail term. But if Mr. X wants to avoid the jail term, he can do plea bargaining, bring the properties back, etc. Right? So, but definitely there will be accountability. And when we say accountability, I know some people want only the jail term, but it's a broad spectrum, different things. Even talking here, I always mention the Cecilia Dapaa example. Even let's leave the Cecilia Dapaa example. Let's mention Akufo Addo's example. So forever, Akufo Addo and his family, it will be history that Akufo Addo tried to add $800 million, almost $1 billion to the Ameri deal, and Ghanaians caught him. So his name is, destroyed forever. Here is a president who tried to do a deal behind Boakye Agyarko. You have your minister for energy. Then he's supposed to negotiate an Ameri deal. It gets to a point, then you see that, hey, this is an opportunity for me to steal money. So Akufo Addo takes him out of the leap, and between Akufo Addo and Gabby and the people out there, 800 million is added. Then we caught him. When we caught him, I was misled by Boakye Agyarko. Then he tried to sacrifice Boakye Agyarko.
But is there an issue that you will take up as well?
That one, it depends on further information. The one I'm willing to do is the fumigation one, because Manasseh did a lot of investigation. The fumigation between Akufo Addo and Zoom Lion, that over 500 million they spent on the fumigation when it was unnecessary.
So you are going to take it up?
Oh, that one, it will go to OSP. Yes.
You are going to OSP?
Yes, corruption.
When will this be?
We are working on it. I've had some preliminary meetings just before, I think that was 29th or 30th of December. Preliminary meetings will be carried on. So the example we are giving is that, so though Akufo Addo has not been taken to court over the $800 million that he tried to steal in the Ameri deal, his name is gone forever, because who will understand this? Who will? Anytime that
he hasn't gone to court, why do you say he tried to steal?
But he admitted, he says he was misled. I told you that when you are going to court, you as a prosecutor, you are allowed to say what you think.
That's why I'm asking the question that if he hasn't gone to court yet, how do you say that?
Excellent. Let me repeat. When you are going to court, when you it's not when the judge
that he was misled.
Yes,
but
he admitted it.
No.
And also number
being
2,
misled doesn't necessarily mean that he attempted to steal.
Look,
I just think
and don't worry. Let's repeat.
So you're saying that because you say you are going to take up other matters in court to deal with it. I'm only saying that if you are saying that yes, he was misled, and
no,
the fact that so. Yes.
Boakye Agyarko says no, he's not the one. He didn't mislead her. It was deliberate.
Precisely.
Boakye Agyarko is alive.
Because you earlier indicated that some of the matters will have to go to court. If the matter hasn't gone to court yet, how do you then say that he tried to steal?
Okay.
That's
so let me repeat, please. All the matters. Did you say honorable?
No, gentlemen. Let's keep focused. I asked the question.
So I'm saying that, listen, in matters like this, when you have analyzed the facts and then you think that it is stealing, you are allowed. In my opinion, I say it was an attempt to steal. And I told you that even when the case is going to court, the prosecutor writes the charge sheet, they charge you for stealing. So all the people before court, they've been charged. The offenses, you have the various names. They'll say stealing, even when the judge has not yet pronounced. That is our law. So you're allowed to accuse. So that if at the end of the day, it turns out that you had no basis, apart from losing the case, that's why our law allows that you, the prosecutor, etc., you can also be taken on for malicious prosecution.
I see.
So that's a remedy. So it's not as if it's just a carte blanche that you can just see Paul Graves and just slap any charges on him. No,
yes,
there is a counter law that if you abuse the law, when it is clear that there is nothing on the CMC and you just add him, like the way Godfred Dame added ACP Agojo and Colonel Gamele to the coup d'etat case.
To flavor it.
Exactly. And Godfred Dame opened his mouth and told me that, oh, Martin, I just added Agojo to make the case strong. And Agojo was standing right behind me and he heard it with his own ears. So that's how come in a case like that, we can do malicious prosecution. Yes, so please, when we sit here, I'm a lawyer. I beg you. I know that if I'm not careful tomorrow, I could also be at the receiving end. So I'm very careful. This 800 million I mentioned, I beg viewers. Akufo Addo came and admitted. And then he sought to say that it was Boakye Agyarko who deceived him. And Boakye Agyarko says, no, you took me out. It was between you and Gabby. What have I defamed Akufo Addo? I've not gone beyond that. I'm a lawyer. And you think if I was just in the, not wet my sword, you think I would have reached here? At least go to the bar. You will see cases I've done. They've helped Ghana a lot. You see, I hardly talk about myself, but when maybe in occasion like this, maybe I have to remind you a bit. There were things, people older, lawyers came and went. I remember table number 1. Let me mention something. Let me mention something. In table number 1, but they wrote in the judgment that, this lawyer, people have come and gone, people of great repute. They came and went. They never saw this thing. And he took this young man. Come on, I've also done my bit. So we are helping a democracy. I'm not interested in defaming anybody. That's how come Akufo Addo hasn't done anything to me.
In fact,
all the things I do.
That's why
he couldn't have sent national security after me. No, but he knows I speak the truth. So there's nothing that can be done to me.
Everybody. I think those of us sitting in the studio and everybody listening to the discussion this morning can make sense of where the issues are, and even if we haven't gotten into the real details of it yet, where the processes are taking us. First of all, having seen what is before us now, I would say that it was a very good thing that President Mahama, and at the NDC, I'm told it was part of your manifesto, right?
Yes.
So it is a very good thing, because why? The fact that there is a great deal of public interest, 1, and 2, public concern about perceived or real improper acquisition of state properties by certain interests, individual, basically private. That concern is all over the place. We know it. We have had all the institutions that the MPP is talking about. Who has even raised these issues? Some of the issues that we are hearing right now, I doubt whether if oral did not exist, whether we would ever have gotten to even know about them.
Absolutely.
There are people who have been battling their cases in court. And it is quite clear that when you go to court against somebody who is fighting you over your property, has political backing, you are up against a very strong wall. And it seems like the evidence that is coming up would suggest that a lot of the people who have had advantage of some of the state properties we are talking about either appear to or indeed do have real political backing from the states and state actors. So I listened to the legal issues that MPP raised, and then I listened to Lawyer Akufo, who is himself a lawyer and a member of Oral, and then Lawyer Afenyo here. And it is quite clear to me that the NPP's initial argument hasn't even got two legs to stand on.
Hasn't got two legs?
It doesn't have two legs to stand on. I mean, they are question of legality. I'm not a lawyer, but I can reason. You know, I've listened to details of the Whistleblowers Act. I've listened to provisions of the National Constitution that actually enjoins citizens to feel or be obligated to provide information for the protection of state property.
Yeah.
Even without oral.
Thank you.
I mean, without a committee instituted by president-elect or sworn-in president or whatever it is. I'm looking at some of these issues and I'm asking, so what is MPP really complaining about? Is it their concern that indeed public property is being misappropriated, or that they have a vested interest in some of the issues that we're looking at? I mean, when you come across a certain way, if you don't take care, people will question your sincerity.
Well, they say they're not against accountability.
Yeah, so that is why I'm saying that if they had taken their time to look at some of the basic laws,
Yes.
whistleblowers, Lawyer Afenyo has read portions of Article 142 of the Constitution. It is not difficult to understand. You don't need to be a lawyer to understand the provisions of these laws. And a lot of the people who are making this case for MPP are very educated people. Some are even lawyers. They put aside all of these legal basis and just jump to do mere political propagandizing. Because now the facts are emerging that indeed citizens, ordinary citizens, even have a duty. And a person is elected as president. We are in a transition process. Everybody recognizes the authority of that president already. The mandate that the people gave this president additionally was even so overwhelming. So can we say that the things that were taking place within the transitional period, because the president hasn't taken over, so we will not recognize them?
It's actually covered by the transitional
provision. Exactly. So some of these things, if you want to make a case, I think that the MPP in opposition now should rather take their time. They shouldn't rush to kick at anything that flies around. Otherwise, they will be making more mistakes. Because I listened to all of the arguments that are being made for 1 district, 1 factory, was there a law? Or one agenda, 111, was there a law? And these were all legitimate. Would you say that because there were no laws, then they were improper? No. So I think that we need to applaud President Mahama and his committee. Just that, I would also say, we heard stories about party foot soldiers, also rampaging certain public properties, especially.
They were called to order.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and they have stopped since.
And also, I was just wondering, sometimes you want to find out from oral whether those people appear to be linked to them or they were operating.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, so Martin, some people tended to feel that those groups were feeling emboldened remotely or indirectly by oral. And that now that the president himself has given instructions for a committee to go into this, we will also help. We are party people, we're also interested. And then, so I don't know whether oral has the power or the capacity to be able to call such people in order. But I'm sure
the president
the party
himself has called them to order.
Yes.
And they've stopped since about 2-3 weeks
because
ago.
that was a big minus.
Yeah, there was never any such incident after about the 3rd of January.
Right.
Yes.
So that is important. But otherwise, I am saying that because the evidence that is coming will show that a lot of the people who have benefited from such disposition or disposal of public property seem to have political backing, it has to take some action like what President Mahama has taken to be able to deal with like oral. Because you see, all of these things are happening. Even the police, I know, have property fraud. You might take your case to property fraud and it might not go anywhere. You go to the court. As I told you, there is a lot of political influencing now. People feel there's a perception that a lot of the courts now appear to be influenced by political power. So when people show up, I may not say that it has been peculiar only to the last regime, but the concern is that it's gotten to a certain magnitude. So when you look at those things and you look at the rate at which public properties have been disposed of within the last 8 years, you compare to previous times, it tends to send the signal that, look, the state is on sale. So I think the MPP should take their time.
On sale to the lowest bidders.
Not even to the highest bidder.
No.
You know, those for me are the real issues. Now, when in this particular case that Lawyer Kweku referred to, when a state agency such as the Land Commission has moved in a particular case to admit that they probably would have made a mistake and would have sent a correction, and over and above that correction, a family's property is still demolished because people feel powerful. That is where I would say that it is very important that irrespective of CID, irrespective of the police, property fraud, Yoko, if the president thinks that it is useful to have a committee such as the oral, I think the president should go right ahead. Of course, once the committee agrees that they don't have powers beyond a certain limit, then the president will have to look at ensuring that this doesn't just become beautiful political drama.
I agree.
Where a lot of noise and a lot of euphoria is created, and a lot of propaganda is created, and then after 6 months, after 1 year, people also find new contacts and new connections. I can bet you the people who have been operating with the old regime, they will also find ways of connecting to the new regime. Yeah. Business people are like that, all of us are like that.
And polluters.
And then mess up this whole thing. So we would have come up with a lot of information. Everybody has great expectations. Yeah. People are looking for justice. And then as the dust settles and as the heat cools off, we don't hear anything about all of these matters again. So I am happy, Lawyer Kweku, that this initiative is moving ahead. After this initial information and the evidence that is being brought up, and the fact that even in some of them, there seems to be some real prima facie substance. Mm-hmm. There seems to be some fact to it. After that, what next? We as citizens, we want to see that President Mahama took over. President Mahama launched Oral. And at the end of the day, Oral managed to recover X percentage of all the loot that we were hearing about. Now, the other thing that
X amount of money.
X amount of money, landed and non, yes. One of the things that I really want to appreciate about Oral is that before Oral, a lot of it might be speculation. People suspect, names will be dropped, suspicions, and so on. Now, this process, I believe, is helping us to get real information.
Hard documents. Hard evidence.
So that when somebody's name is mentioned or some incident is raised, it is not left to suspicion or gossip. It is not left to speculation.
It's not fabrication.
It is not fabrication. It is something that whoever is charged also has a right to also go to court to defend themselves. In fact, I have rightfully acquired this property. I'm being accused of having acquired it wrongly.
It's not so.
You also have a right to go to court. So I don't think the responsibility lies only on the side of government or the committee that the government has put in place. If anybody also feels that Oral is mistreating them, that Oral's work is infringing on their liberties and rights, and they have evidence to show that they have not committed any error or crime or offense, I don't think that they are precluded from also seeking redress before the law court. So, but I think this initiative, the effort by the MPP and others to try and bastardize it must stop. The MPP in opposition should look for something more productive, more beneficial to do, which Ghanaians will sit back and say, well, MPP was in opposition, in government, we are not happy with them, but at least in opposition, they are doing ABC, which is positive, you know, and that can also contribute to the whole process of our democratic development. So I think so far, I am not impressed with the reaction and the opposition that the MPP has raised as far as Oral is concerned. I'm not impressed.
Well, you were much more involved in the Kufuor administration.
Yes.
You established the Office of Accountability.
Yes.
The function of that office, does it in any way have similarities with the Oral in its setup and function?
I really don't think so, because you see, the Office of Accountability under the President Kufuor government tended to focus more on the accountability of public officers. In fact, I think that was the time that the demand, even though the law was there, the demand for public officials,
and public sector reform, introduce public sector reform,
to give an audit of their properties and what they would have acquired became very prominent.
Na say ye kwahwe ye say Attorney General ama instruction say Dr. Stephen Opuni kane no ye Cocoa Board chairman one businessman ba kwa waboa Ghana puntuo wo kwadia sebebie so ye Alhaji Sedu Agongo chese wo ye businessman nipa enya ne so faso buburuja wo ba asem ekopie mu wo court fa Cocoa Board fertilizer bia chese ye import ede ba Ghana sa case no obi a wa follow me bia makapen say sa asem no asa na butie mu sa asem na ehye ni tire ni nan asa edin sa na won say sa amre no Godfrey Damian no ya Attorney General wutie ACP agoza o se sa wo po bi o ya vindictive a wontimi nyi Godfrey Damian si nchen eye ni suban enti asa oyedipa bi a ma menya de me party fo ani beje ho ma mentata nipa sumasi se be ya me party fo ebeje me so enya me na me ka o de bia di ACP se eye agozo eno ono obeka na numu asem se ekwan ode ne fa so ene nsem wa pie free na no e wono na sem na ye se wone nkrofo bia plan ku chomba betu abanya gu na WhatsApp chats and omukoyi ne number say what the information be to WhatsApp platform bi so enti wane one more plan cool no eya adwen baako no no kura no mo security tips now show at bia mo de ACP agozo famu now show papa no na dwuma waye ne se de wasom Ghana ene se de ye gu nanim ase ene kwanya ye de ne fa so na kowie akire a Osi Godfrey Damia no ya Attorney General wada na Akufo Addo abamu ka kire ne se papa yi dia ya de ne fare ho keke na ono na ya de ne fare ho keke no mpo ene ya de ne fa sa tibia nim ti e kire se samra ne se nyame na bedu ho afofi na e bia bibi se ni ase wonim ni pasu masi ni ade wo fare ho a e fare ho ne krampo no wo hu kwanya ye de wo fa so Obia follow sa akoko board issue ni bia no assemble na ewo evidence a ye di asem na ko 8 years ni entimi ni asem ni wie ye di abuga pele na ejidamo issues ni ayikwa court no me pa cho edi na sen sa case no President John Dramani Mahama no ada ka sa asem no mo fa court nko hwehwem enyo bi onu ana mamuom onu ana damfo no kasa na sa policy no wode baaye wo mu hu sa corruption bi akoso wa baabi wo ye so mo fa asem no court no me pa cho ye nyina ya wa Ghana ha sa asem no edi na sa wo court but at the end of the day ya wa cases bebre akọ court wa Ghana ha no ma asem no wo ready ti na ahwe ne na ya wo hu baabi asem na sase wo e na wo hu baabi chese ni ti so wo eti wo follow sa case na besi enne aya se Attorney General ama instruction say asem no wahwehwe ma o hu ni ti hu ni na madanse bi anka hu ti wo bu ntwam eno na akwafa ahase pese omonwenwe ho enwenwe hu bi ani ho se na Godfrey da be evidence amenye so say sa asem no ke bedi more than 6 years for court any 6 years for court and I wonim samra no na deliberate attempt to say my yen sheda ne yan gu Ghana fo bi nyuma se be ya yen na ya ba ba mu no ya be yetinya ya huye etu ya kwan ya Bank of Ghana fa so our go Heritage Bank our Ghana ha wo sha asam no pa na nya political motivational Wuti me say na dance bi ani hu et say do mo go GN Bank et say do mo go Uni Bank et say do mo go Uni Credit et say do mo go UT ye go banks ye go nkofo bi no munuma ye susu say omo affiliated to a certain political party but omo refi omo say sa political party affiliated people no say adwuma mpo no omo bia wo ma fa ni pa adwuma as ankrofo to your tax and contribute to the GDP. I'm forget here, no. Witch hunting, political witch hunting, and I know what about Kumamu because I will follow that case where ya me with him, and I'm a person of case in because you want the stories I hear baby. Baby Pacha was our fertilizer and I can't want some no. And you one you so ya Ghana. Yetiminya 1 million metric tons of cocoa ebisi biem besin de Mahama free power ya yenya sa cocoa no yenya biem besin de wa ma ba ya fertilizer no ma fa bia ma mass spray no ma fa bia ma wo mo wi ya no mo tisi cocoa fo no mo cha se so mo twitwa tugu e ya mo di galamsey sa fertilizer ko na ya ka ho asem no eno na ma Ghana cocoa ejina ne nan so besi na asam no sa history no yentimi break here anything na make catch us say na Godfrey Dame Attorney General dead no what evidence that was asam no aka asam no any 2 years in poor court but na samra no e ya adwene po bia ya bosem ma yenta tankrofo bi ma yengu nkofo bi nyuma say ba ya be weaken NDC party no because there is this perception say ankrofo no ya NDC for dia wo mo no mo be hye NDC party ni den eti ye gu omadwuma na say ye gu party na pre na wo ye Yakopon you are not God eti wo say wo mo amodia na mo ye omadwe say ye ngu so called NDC for ye ngu omadwuma ni ye nye ye de yie no anything and and confirm a brand raminya information confirm SIC no cry ya de miame boss and me bra James Sajedi Boakye Agyarko no SIC no agu and am say agu yo SIC agu ye eya Akufo Addo any can ofori Atta do you imagine say adie bia your mind japade bia o me say no ma your mo de ye anything na SIC mind insurance adie bia what say fa SIC no mo de akofa enterprise me ba cha enterprise ya ban dia enya ban dia e can ofori Atta no dia enti adwuma na what say SIC ye no ana wa mo share da bo mo tiri mpo eno your mind dia bi no mienu ye benya so fa so me no mienu ye benya ho chese emfaso pe wa dia bo amane ho bradia yengu no na yenye ye yabusua dia ye hwe the perception ana won confo we tirim ne say ma yenye nyuma ne yie say be ya the next 10 years the next 20 years even the next 50 years ye ne ye ma yendi hia da Ajina na wo mutirim no etu amsha ase na omuhu say e kwama ne be fa so ebetimi amasa ye tirim po na ya bo na bebam enya yengugu Ghana fo bi mu nyuma yesusu say ye no omo the same field. That was the agenda. Enti ma yengu sa adwuma na ye gu sa adwuma na ye de ne begina. Enti sa wo sha Heritage Bank enipa na form adwuma na omo bru 350. No mo ye Ghana fo pa cha omo ye Togo fo and omo China for omo ya Ghana for but so me so a Heritage Bank na tua sa ankofo ne ka e ma sa ankofo no omo ya breadwinner say wo babusuam omo tua aduane mo omo madi omo tua ankofo ma school fees enti ekowi akire no e ya adwene bi say ma yengu sa adwuma ne ye gu sa adwuma ne wi a wow omo refi say omo gu adwuma na Ghana for no omo ye employees no e na omo ho be kire wo mo Sanjini free wo mutirim because no ma your ma say ye good ni ye die ye anything that can ofori Atta to me tam wa mamu ni nyina di no de akwaje bosia no de bosia na ba be fa data bank no wa ka che say data bank and ye advisor e ma ye kwaje bosia no up to percentage eno na binum kwa kan ya no ase wanti ase say ye se ye koba bosia ti bi na data bank ye me ma me dia data bank ani se da yo dia say no dia it is here data bank ya can ofori Atta dia na o ma ne kwaje bosia na onu gimu percentage ni ase can ofori Atta gi bia ase menti ase na bank no hwan dia enti ye shede gu Heritage Bank because ye said do agongo dia o ye NDC ni ye shede say ye stress ye kan so opuni e say so ye dia o ye NDC ni for almost 8 years now some back wo court ye ntimi nya evidence ni akwane yeba
you wait for waiting and someone about beto yepono so mekao say so when you subscribe to channel idea bomodi say obe subscribe say hadie latest and hot news enko ena me de bro afi we na wa like video no give us a thumbs up na fi share ma wo foforo so na wenye bi hwe na wo hu and someone ekoso Ghana me mo hanum oso betimi a chere wadwen afa yen some we nyira ho wo comment box ni mu mo beti menka bio in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.